Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Ark of the Covenant. Was it taken off by extraterrestrials? Hello, this is Chart GPT today. You know, remember the movie back in the 1980s with Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Of course, they were in search of the Ark of the Covenant. Of course, this is probably the gold mine of all archaeological finds that people could look for in the world, and that is the Ark of the Covenant, which is supposed to have all the powers of God, and it was the covenant between the Judeo-Christian world and their people. Here's kind of is kind of an image of what it would look like. It was actually a fairly small bottle. We'll see the dimensions here, with poles, with the cherubims of the images of the angels. Inside of this box was the 2 stone tablets of the 10 Commandments given by Moses on Mount Sinai to the people at the time, given by God actually, not Moses. But here's kind of some of the details. It was only 3.75 feet by 225 by 225 feet. It's when they're measuring cubits, because that's if you assume what a cubit is. And it was last seen in the Solomon's Temple. Well, they put it in the tabernacle there with King Solomon. Of course, when eventually the Babylonians overtook Jerusalem, when the first destruction of the temple there, it disappeared. This is where the conspiracy theories come. Where did it go? Did it get chopped up for jewelry? Kind of doubtful when you think about the importance to God. I mean, there was is emblematic of it. This Uzzah, I guess, he was carrying the ark, and it actually stumbled. The ox stumbled, and the box fell off with the tablets. He grabbed it to hold it from falling, and he got zapped. So, you know, they were not supposed to touch. That's why they had to have the poles, because you couldn't touch it because it was so holy. So God took it very seriously. He didn't want to messing around. So can you imagine digging around in some archaeological site with your spade, and you accidentally hit dirt, and you go, clink, I hit the box, and lightning bolts come out of the sky and destroy you. So don't be digging around if you think you know where the Ark of the Covenant is. You might not want to be digging around, because you might get a lightning bolt coming down from the sky, as Uzzah did back in the stories of the Bible. The Ark had many seemingly magical powers, according to the Bible. In one of the stories, Jordan River stopped flowing and remained still while a group of priests carried the Ark across the river. Also describe how the Israelites took the Ark with them into battle, where the powers of the Ark helped them Israelite defeat their enemies. So very serious business there with the Ark. So it's quite the find if you can find it. But do people really believe the Bible? Here's the kind of thing. Do you actually believe the Word of God, or is it just inspired, kind of metaphoric? Or is it just fables? Most people think today that about 50% think it's just inspired and not to be taken literally. Think about that. Let's take a look at some of the places where it's been rumored. Rosslyn Chapel, kind of famous by the Da Vinci Code, is up in Scotland. They think it's somehow buried underneath the stones there, taken away many thousands of years ago. Temple of Edith down in southern Egypt. There's other things that have been found down there. They think it could be buried down there. Other locations include where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. They found a lot of stuff there. So maybe this is where they had other things, artifacts, such as the Ark of the Covenant. Mount Nebo, this is the significant role where the Judean Christian, as the place where Moses saw the Promised Land before he died. And the exact burial ground is not known, so people searching all over that mountain. Here's one here, the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion. They think that the Queen of Sheba took it off to be stored in Aksum, Ethiopia. It's quite a curious site down there. The priests down there claim that they have it down there, but you're not allowed to go in and see it. So there you go. Of course, the most significant story is it's buried in the Dome of the Rock, which is at the Temple Mount, so in Jerusalem. And of course, this is why this is even geopolitically today is a very serious building. If it ever gets damaged in all these wars, it's going to be really serious news, especially if the Ark of Covenant is buried under there. Still more crazier ones, you know. Some people believe it's in Antarctica, you know, where they've seen images of extraterrestrials and boxes and strange anomalies down in Antarctica. Maybe it's buried down there, and maybe an extraterrestrial has whisked it off down there. So they answer the question, where is the Ark of the Covenant and who took it? Well, this is going to seem kind of odd, but in reality, it was an extraterrestrial. It was angels, or at least part of God's realm that took it. We can see here in Revelations 11 where the return of Christ at the seventh trumpet, which is when Christ is supposed to return the second time, This is when, after the Armageddon, after the apocalypse, etc., the God's temple in the heaven was open, and within the temple was seen the Ark of the Covenant. So of all the, of course, the real contents of its value is the Ten Commandments, and it's interesting that if people think the Ten Commandments are done away with, why would God be hanging on to that old stuff and make it prominent in the return of Christ? So yes, extraterrestrials did take it, and two, you're never going to find it on the earth because, according to the Bible, it's up in heaven. So if you consider yourself a modern-day Harrison Ford looking for the Ark and Raiders of the Lost Ark 2.0, I think you'll be disappointed. Take a look at the AI, and they'll tell you some other locations that people have amused about. There's about 10 locations. Japan, even in Arizona, I think people claim that there's bits of it there. Interesting. Take our online poll. Do you think the Ark of the Covenant will ever be found, at least in this age? Things to ponder for this Sunday Thoughts. Check out the post link in the description box below to check out what the AI says and the locations, and take the online poll. Now, don't forget to subscribe.